Good afternoon. Have any of you ever lived in a foreign country? Remember how nervous you were? You didn't understand the language? You weren't sure how to find a place to live? And you definitely didn't know how to get around the city. Well, hi, I'm Ricky, and I'm going to talk to you today about living in a particular city called Seoul, South Korea. I'm going to talk to you about ways you can learn the language, also how you can find a place to live. And lastly, we'll talk about transportation opportunities that they have available. Well, are you ready? Let's begin. So, you find out you're moving to Seoul, South Korea, and you're not sure how to speak the language. Well, there's three resources that I have available for you. One is the local library. Everyone has access to the library. There are abundance of books, tapes that you can actually watch and read to help you along with learning the language of Hangul, which is what they speak in Seoul, South Korea. Also, there's a program called Rosetta Stone. Some of you may have seen the commercials on TV. I've actually utilized this myself for a couple of languages that I was trying to learn. But it's a very easy program to follow, and it's very in-depth. Lastly, just take a class. If you're really that interested and you really want to learn, I would definitely go the class route. And also you have an instructor there who could actually help you. No brainer, right? Well, so we talked about a couple of ways you can learn the language. Let's talk about trying to find a place to live. The first thing I would do is actually search the internet for a realtor. Or I should say realtors. The way Korea is set up, most realtors are mostly tied to a certain apartment building or maybe a couple of different high-rises in that area. But you definitely want a broad spectrum of places to view, am I right? That way you can see if it's a place that you want. Maybe you like the ones that have a certain bathtub in it, or maybe a certain layout of a kitchen. Well, that's the rate I would go. Also, the high-rise buildings are really nice here. You have a very nice view of the whole entire city. Or you can settle for a 2 to 3 story apartment style building as well. So now we talked about trying to find a place to live. Let's talk about the transportation opportunities. Taxis, taxis, taxis. Taxis are everywhere. It seems like there are more taxis than personal vehicles on the road. According to the Korea Tourism Organization, taxis are plentiful, clean, safe, and very inexpensive. Unless you're trying to go to the airport. Then they're going to make you pay. Also, the subway. I think the subway is very convenient. I take the subway to and from work every day. It's actually less expensive than the taxis since there's always traffic, right? The signs are actually in English and Hangul in the subway. And they give you these nice transportation cards. You utilize those to ride the subways instead of having to just pull out, dollars or coins. An excellent site for our foreigners to use to understand the subway system is www.visitkorea.or.kr. I found this site very useful for me. They actually have more than transportation opportunities on there, but go check it out. So now that I've told you about transportation options, now let's talk about everything that I've actually shared with you today. So, I informed you on how to transition to living in South Korea. I provided some resources to learn the language of Hangul. I also talked to you about how to find a place to live in the city. And finally, I gave you some transportation options that you could follow. I hope you found the presentation informative, insightful, and if you ever decide to move to Seoul, Korea, you always have these tips to fall back on. Well, it was nice talking to you today, class. Bye now.